Hey there everyone, welcome back to GameVine. My name is Dave, and today we are reviewing a game called My City from Cosmos. Let's do it. This is the second city building game that I've reviewed from Cosmos, and this one is interesting. It's a legacy game. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when you play a game and you alter it over time, so it's unique to you and or your group. This game, you're going to be adding stickers and adding more things like tiles and cards as time goes on. This is designed by the renowned designer Reiner Knizia. He's pretty divisive. I like a lot of his games, but there are some stinkers. When it comes to legacy games, I've liked pretty much every one I've played, and Cosmos always does a pretty good job when it comes to production. It's either like midweight all the way up to high tier, so I was pretty excited when I got this game. This is broke up into 24 episodes, so you can play 24 games, which are around 30 to max an hour long. So you're getting your money's worth, but you can also keep this game around and play the eternal game, which means you can play it every time, anytime you want, because there's a side of the board that doesn't change. Now this is my very first time reviewing a legacy game, so I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything, so I'm only going to go over the first couple of episodes to give you a feel of how things play out. It does have a mechanism in it from a game that I played that's Habba called Karuba, where everyone is taking the same action, but they have their own board that they can take that action on. Without further ado, let me show you the production, and I'll break that down without doing any kind of spoilers. You know that one or two might come, but it's not going to ruin the whole experience. So let me show you what's in this box, show you how to play, and then we'll go from there. Let's go. What you get in the box in My City. Now this is going to be much different than how I show things off in the previous videos, because I can't really show much off. Now the main part of the game are these envelopes, and it kind of has chapter summarizations on each one of them, so you can kind of get a feel of what's going to go on when you get to the next like 3 chapters. And like I said, there are 24 of them in here. So some are called the mines, some are called the like New Land, and then Prosperity at the very end, and they're like churches. So you get a little feel, and it's not too much of a spoiler, but there are different things that correspond with those, and you better like stickers. Like I said, you better like stickers. And as you can see, the boards here are fresh. You're seeing the sausage and how it gets made. I do the components portion before I even play the game, and so this is fresh. Now there are 2 sides, one side that you're going to be marking up, and another side that you can play anytime with anybody. It's like the eternal game, as they call it, and you start off with a lot of tiles to begin with and different colors, and you get these 4 little wooden blocks, of course, and then some cards. So that's everything you get. Everything here is quality, and I haven't looked in these envelopes yet, so I'm just as in the dark as you are at the moment. But now let me show you how to play, and future Dave will know a little bit more. Okay, so this is a board that we haven't played on. Like I said, there is an eternal game that you can play, which is essentially the same thing, but we're just going to go over the legacy game. I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything. This is a fresh board. You will be adding stickers and stuff like that to your player board as time goes on, but this one right here is a fresh start. The name of the game is to get these tiles here and cover up as much of the board as you can of the light green squares and the rocks. Those are going to negate points, but the trees here, if you leave those open, those are going to give you points. Now these mountainous areas and these forest areas, those don't count towards your negative score or positive, and you can't place tiles on them at all. So you can't place tiles right here on the mountainous or on the forest. Just act like those aren't there. Now the river here, you can't place a tile across it like this, but when you place your first tile in the very start of every game, it has to be along the river here. It can't be like diagonal, it has to be across, horizontal or vertically. And then after that, when you're placing tiles down, you have to lead off one of your tiles that already exist, again following all the rules. Now at the end of the game, the tree is going to be worth 1 point for each tree you can see, and the rocks will be worth -1 point that you can see. So there are 2 rocks here and 2 trees here, so you're going to want to try to cover up as many of these rocks as you can, but again, you have to follow all the rules. So this isn't a legal move, but I can set up a good rock move by playing this one right here, and then later on getting a 2-fer right there. So how are we putting these tiles down? Well, I'm glad you asked. Everyone will be putting tiles down simultaneously. This is kind of like I said, Karuba, where you are drawing a card and everyone will get this piece right here that corresponds, and then they will place it on their board simultaneously. So take a beat and then everyone has to place it down so you don't copy each other. And you'll continue doing this, flipping over these cards, and you can place a tile like this with the river in between them like that, but again, you can't place it across the river like that. But you'll be drawing these cards, everyone will be taking these pieces, the ones that say on the card, until they don't want to. Let's say somebody doesn't want to put this blue one down. Well, they will take the piece and flip it over. Now everybody has their own pieces, and you can see that because the icon in the back will correspond to the one that's on your board, and they'll flip the one that they don't want to use, and this will be -1 point at the end of the game. But they are continue to participate in this episode, because the end of the episode is reached by everyone saying, I don't want to participate anymore in this episode, which means you aren't taking any tiles and placing them as negative points or putting them on your board. You're just out for the rest of the game, waiting to calculate your score at the end of the game. You're not getting any benefits, nor are you getting any negatives, so you don't have to worry about passing. Now, other people may stay in the game and continue their episode, but once they're done, the round ends, or when all these construction cards have been taken. Now, I haven't mentioned we do have to open up the first envelope. Now each envelope will contain 1 to 3 episodes, and so you'll open one of those up, and we just basically played the first episode. Once a round is over, you will give everybody a reward. This is where stickers come into play. The first place person will get a rock, which is not good, so they'll get a rock token, but they'll get to take a pen and tick up these progress circles up here, which is good. And I'm not going to get into too much because that might be revealing, but you want those progress things to be up, but you also get a hindrance. Now the person that comes in last will get a tree sticker, which is good to put on there. And if you're playing a 2-player game, there will be no second place reward, but there is a second place reward in a 3 or 4-player game. And you can place those stickers on any of these little tiny squares that you can see. Let me get a little closer, see if you can see. Yeah, you can see those little dots. Those are the ones that are applicable for placing any upgraded stickers. Now at the end of the round, you will calculate your score by counting all the empty light green squares as a -1 point, counting the rocks as well, and then any of the trees as a positive point towards your score. And that is the first game scoring, and it is going to be a low scoring game, but that's not going to be that way the whole time. It does start to ramp up over time. Now if you get all the way down to 50 here, you don't get any higher. You just will gain a progress dot here, and you'll mark that off with a pen like I said. But an end game board will look a little bit like that. So this person right here got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares that they got negative points on, but they got like 6 points right here for trees, -2 points for rock, and again the forest and mountainous areas don't count. You'll continue to do that, see who the winner is. You'll add your stickers over the first episode. You can continue to play more if you want. They will add rules over time. And we'll go over a little bit more because it's not too much of a spoiler. The first envelope. Episode 2 will add a concept of clustering buildings of the same color. So the first game you didn't have that concept, but in the second episode you can do that, and this one right here will be a cluster of 3, so you'd get 3 points for that cluster, and red and blue also are colors that you can apply to your score. So like I said, the scoring gets a little higher, but the first few games are going to be low. So that's essentially it. I don't want to get into too much more. Like I said, there are a ton of these envelopes with 3 episodes a piece that are not very long, around 15-20 minutes. So now let me give you my opinion when I think about this game, and then give it a grade. And that is how you play My City. And yes, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to city building. I like this. Let's go ahead and give it a grade. It gets an 83 for me, which gets the GameVine Player Award. I am confident giving it that seal of approval. There are some things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So there are more things that I like about this game. So let's go over things that I wasn't a big fan. The thing about the first couple rounds where you're not scoring a lot, I like big numbers, and I also like to build up stuff in front of me. the first couple rounds you still built up your town and city, which was really cool. I like that, but the scoring was just so minuscule and it felt like I didn't accomplish much. And the rounds in the first few scenarios are very short, which is not a bad thing because it had me clamoring. It's just something to keep in mind. The production of this game is decent, but there are some things that it's just kind of bland. The thing that I'm not a huge fan of, I had to take a break. I couldn't play all 24 games just in a row. It caused a kind of burnout because each game does feel different, but not different enough to go and plow through like 10 games at a time. I got 4 or 5 every week and then gave it a break and came back to it. So those are the things I wasn't a big fan. Now let me tell you about the things I did like. I liked how it progressed. It's a great legacy game, and this is a good one. I think Machikoro was a good first kind of gateway legacy game. I actually think this one would be better. So I would get My City, then go to Machikoro, and then probably Pandemic Legacy. But this is a great kind of gateway legacy game. To teach, you are going to have to try to keep the same group if you want to play the multiple games. It's not too hard to explain in the first couple episodes, but once the board is altered quite a bit, well, they're going to be confused going into it. So you want to kind of keep the consistent group, and that's not a bad thing at all. And I like the straightforward nature each envelope came out and brought. It, I mean, one said actual churches. I knew churches was going to come out. That was something that actually clicked really easy. Each little bitty role made this game just a little more in depth, and as you got to like the 6th or 7th role, it did kind of make a different game for you, and definitely you're bored putting all those stickers on. Again, you have to like stickers. And the theme is there. Again, I'm not trying to get into too many spoilers, but everything seems to make sense as it is revealed. The internal game, I only played it once, and yeah, again, it's a good kind of, if you want to just play this with a new person and they want to have a city building game and My City's the only one you have, yeah, go to it. But it's nothing that's revolutionary. Like I say that word a lot, but it's nothing that blew my mind. I came for the legacy game and that's what I stayed for. But overall, I think people who like city building games are going to like this. I think people who like board games and tiles like the polyominoes, Tetris pieces are going to like this. And anybody who's played a legacy game will like this. Know this is on the lighter side of those legacy games. And getting through all 24 episodes was fun, and I absolutely recommend this if you're into that kind of thing. So thank you again, Cosmos, for providing us with this review copy. I really do appreciate your support. You help the channel grow, and you are the best. And thank you so much, Vine Nation, for clicking like and subscribe. And until the next time that I see you, I'm Dave. Have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. If you want to buy this game, it's down in the description below. And I'm out. Bye. Vine Nation, we love making content here for you on the channel, and we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and help us out. This video right here, I think you'll like. This video right here, YouTube thinks you'll like. Or you can just sit here and watch me dance the dinosaur for a little bit longer. You can visit us at our social media outlets, and we're going to be improving our Patreon here soon. That's all for today. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.